Well, hello friends, Fujosevich here. Welcome back to some Hearthstone as I am recording my first video offline for the first time in a very, very long time. RL is a little bit crazy right now, so no stream for today, or at least for not right now. We are in a little bit of a pickle with this opening hand of this Dragon Priest deck list, and oh my goodness, I don't know why it's not up there. I am gonna get that going right now as well. This deck is a play on the Dragon's Call deck list. There it is. Make it a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. SI7. This is a very poor opening for us against what we're assuming is a tempo rogue. Netherspite into Netherspite into swapping things. This is a very, very poor start for us against what we're expecting to be a fast deck. We also don't have a lot of removal for our opponent's Cobalt Scalebane, Prince Keleseth. You know what? We expect this in Tempo Rogue. We're not a huge fan of seeing it. It's not turn 2 at the very least, so we have that going for us. Power Word Shield, we could do things right now. Okay, so we actually have a bit of an issue right now because we would like to remove Prince Keleseth for the return to hand, back step, as I like to call it, abilities. But then removing the 3/3 is actually kind of powerful. We're going to go with Keleseth because I'm scared. And we're going to go with the heal, hopefully activating our dragons. Divine Spirit's actually okay, and we're going to go ahead and draw this way now. So at the very least, we're going to be able to activate this dragon, and then in the long term, activate our Drac OP. Obviously, if we have to, we will Drac OP for tempo. 5 mana, 5/6 is still going to be maybe enough to keep us in the game, but since it's our only dragon, we really hope we don't do that. That's kind of a silly play, but there's probably going to be some sort of cold blood or buffs to be able to punch through. Oh! No punching through. Okay. If we were to be a deck that were to run... Oh, we can go 12 to face, but I'm far too scared of simply losing right now, so I don't think that's going to be the play. Let's get at least one more dragon. I was hoping for a board clear. That's not what we're able to do. We'll take the Taunter. I'm not super thrilled with that, though. And you know what? I think we will take another dragon here. Again, we're looking for that early game AoE. I believe he's called the Duskbreaker now. I think he's in the deck list right here. If we could have found one of those, I would have felt a lot more comfortable. And I think all we need to do is make this attack. And maybe one Inner Fire here, because I don't think we're winning through an Inner Fire burst. I think we need to kind of regain some control of this board right now. And the way we're going to do that is by having actual minions that do things. And obviously we're not healing right now into our opponent's Northshire Cleric, so that's good. And I'll go in face. Oh, we have an interesting turn coming up here. That's fine, because this allows us to ping here. Oh, we're actually going to slightly regain control of this board. Okay. So the issue is, okay, we have a couple things we can do actually on this turn. I kind of like this turn. Or at least the options available to us on this turn. Let's squelch it. The best play we're going to make in this entire game, that's for sure. We have the option of Shadow Word Deathing this, which is great. We can then attack in here, attack there, and then kind of heal. And we, you know, slowly stabilize the game. Or the game state, the board, I should say. The issue is, maybe we can look to Twilight Acolyte in order just for tempo. Not necessarily because we want to do it, but just literally just for tempo. And so I'm thinking, obviously we would Twilight Acolyte if we didn't top deck our only removal in this deck, in this Inner Fire, Divine Spirit, Dragon Priest. We would just do it here and then kind of like trade off. But I feel like the hard removal is going to be very important. And then we'll keep this actually in our hand. And the reason for that is, ooh, maybe we Divine Spirit here. What a twist. Should we Divine Spirit? We can't also heal is the issue. Let's do it this way. And we'll say go. I feel like that turn was okay. Maybe it's not the best thing that we could have done, to be perfectly honest. But the thing that I did like there is we were able to kind of maintain our board presence. And all of these cards that are getting top deck now are going to be very, very strong. So hopefully we can get some Drac OP action going here on turn 5. We're definitely hoping for a little bit more power coming out. I mean, if we could find a Duskbreaker, that's still going to be a great top deck, I think, for us. And it is a Scalebane, which is an okay top deck for us. We're still running the risk of actually getting taken out right now. Leroy, Pirates, or Tar Creeper. I like Tar Creeper. We can actually attack in, but we're going to go ahead and wait one turn. The attack doesn't change anything. We now obviously know that our opponent also has a Leroy in their deck, which is going to do 7 face damage, not the 6. And they might honestly be running some Cold Bloods in there that they're still holding, because they've held these cards for a long, long time. So they're probably reactive. Maybe they've been holding a Vile Spine this whole time in order to get rid of our Draco P. But we're really, really still not sure. And we know they still have, you know, 5 cards in hand. That's a lot of resources. Eventually we'll get some Taunt out, but we know that the Taunt can just get eliminated with the Vile Spine. So we're still kind of in a bad way right now. And this activates the combos very nicely, having these 1-cost spells. Or 1-cost minions. 1-cost cards, I guess is more accurate. This forces a few trades. Okay, 6/6 is not that big. 6 is not a large trade. We're definitely still looking for board clears here. I'm looking at you, Duskbreaker. Oh, these are not the best results in the world for us. But at least we can go 3/3 and then heal face and then also eliminate that. Which I kind of, you know, it's not the best thing in the world. But at the very least here, we are getting a taunt up. And we are also, you know, we're developing some more minions. We're healing up a little here. 18, obviously, we're not comfortable just because of the board state. And it's also really, you know, really interesting that our opponent was willing to play their Flame Elemental there. So this is from Swashbuckler, that's fine. Oh, okay. They use their Elven Minstrel, which I was actually talking over. That's one of the coolest, I think, Battlecry sounds in the game. I don't know if you've heard it yet or not, but I really think it's cool. Our opponent's going for some value trades here because they know we can't right now. We're probably... we could just go back here. I mean, taking the value on the 3 as well is interesting. I think we just get rid of the biggest thing. We can play out our taunt. I mean, we can go 5 and 3, kind of build up a wider board. And maybe we should build up a wider board, actually. I kind of like the wider board, as opposed to all in on the taunt. How much damage, actually? So the cards that our opponent's been holding, and they've just drawn a lot, which is an issue. Which is why it really makes you think we're going to get hit with Vile Spine, which makes me really want to go wide. So you know what? We will, except we're going to go wide here, this way. So now we're kind of the tempo deck, and that's kind of the idea behind what we're doing here, is that this is a very, you know, we have a lot of those mid-game minions available to us, and because we have a lot of those cheap spells, that's why we threw in Lyra. I don't think Lyra is needed in this deck if you don't have Lyra. I don't think Lyra, you know, this is an easy replace it for any other dragon. Uh-oh. That's scary. Uh-oh. Leroy? Leroy weapon? I mean... That's unfortunate. This was still an interesting, you know, our opponent got their Keleseth out, which I think we know if you play Keleseth on 2, your win rate increases by somewhere around 10%. I think we saw the stats, at least before the expansion, but it's kind of interesting. You know, our opponent basically added the Elven Minstrel, and then they played Tempo Rogue. And that was still kind of an interesting game there, where, I mean, we weren't able to find our AoE, which is unfortunate. We had 2 Dragonfire Potions we dodged, and 2 Duskbreakers we dodged, and a couple Shadow Visions, which could have found our Dragonfire Potions. But overall, I mean, we still battled pretty well, considering I don't think we drew the best in that game. So that was still kind of fun for me. That was interesting to see how this deck is lining up against a very strong deck in Tempo Rogue. Okay, we have ourselves a Priest on Priest Mirror, continuing here with our Inner Fire Dragon Priest, which is kind of an interesting deck, kind of an interesting take on this new Duskbreaker Twilight Acolyte style of Priest. We could go a little bit in here on the Inner Fire combo, but we'll hold off on that for a turn or two, just because we know Northshire is so susceptible to all sorts of juicy early game removal. And if our opponent's doing dragon things much like we are doing dragon things, this could become an issue with our opening hand, the way that we're kind of sitting. So I'm going to go ahead and develop the minion as opposed to doing anything else. Obviously, we're at 12 right now. Burst for next turn, which isn't enough to do, because then we get it with a Shadow or Death and we lose. So I don't want to be doing that if we can avoid it. What is that play? Oh, and a Silence. There we go. So we got a Silence out of our opponent's hand. Duskbreaker, that's a good trade. That's a pretty nice trade there. This very much stinks that we have nothing to do on turn 4. Very un-priest-like. Priest historically, turn 3 and 4 are their power turns. Our opponent had a really strong turn there with the trade into Duskbreaker, now into a Twilight Drake, and we're falling way behind. We really need this Draco P to help us out a little. Oh, wow, our opponent is running Deathwing. And Ysera. I'm going to take the Ysera because I feel like, yes, obviously Deathwing is an amazing card and can win games, but we could have an answer for Deathwing. Whereas Ysera, our deck right now actually, has a lot less answers. Our only answer really for it would be our Twilight Acolyte into Bookworm combo, which in my opinion is not going to be enough of a... not enough of a combo there. So we're going to go ahead and play this out again. There's nothing else we can do. No, we'll continue to apply pressure. The really, really scary thing... Okay, we're going to take Ysera here and hope. Change a minion's attack to be equal to its health. I think we can afford to do this on the Twilight Drake right now. I feel like that's a good enough play for us. Obviously, we kind of lose our burst potential, but also it makes it a little bit harder for our opponent to just like trade off super easily here. And that trade is fine. This now gets a lot more scary, obviously. Hopefully we can find something really, really nice with our Nether Spite to help us out a little bit. Otherwise, we are kind of going to be running into trouble because we need to hold off for a few turns here before our Yseras really start doing work. We obviously have the option of another Inner Fire and then Bookworm, but I'm not sold on that play right now. Why aren't I sold on that play? Is it because I want to find another Draco P? I think that is why. This is also a pretty nice card, but I think we can take the Scalebane. We are really, really falling behind here, and we don't have a lot of great ways to be able to deal with our opponent's anything, which is really, really unfortunate. That early game Nether Spite from them really gave them that value chain generation that they're looking for with the deck that they're playing. Obviously, playing that 5/5 just sacrificed our own minion. Our opponent found 2 Duskbreakers here.
Is someone injured?
See, if we were able to have played our Ysera right now, like if we were at going to 9 instead of 8 mana, I think we would be in great shape. But we're in a really, really tough spot, so I'm going to just... Oh, how do we do this, actually? So we only have 6+2 right now. So the question is, do we want to get rid of the 3/3, which is obviously the more powerful minion? Or do we get rid of the Northshire in order to deny the draw? And I think we have to do it this way. And I think we will heal, and then we'll say go. And we have to hope that our opponent... I mean, our opponent has far, far too many cards right now for them not to just have a great turn. So, I mean, it's not like we can count on them being, you know, out of resources and not have another powerful turn. But at the very, very least, we're going to get Ysera out first. That's the only saving grace that we might honestly have in this matchup right now, is the fact that we have 2 Yseras. Maybe that's going to be enough. Maybe our first Ysera gets us Dream. So if our opponent drops a Ysera, we just Dream it back to hand, then we can play our second one. And that's kind of how we catch up in this matchup. Because otherwise, we're in really, really bad shape right now. And I'm not sure what our outs are in order to actually win here. Because our opponent had a much, much stronger start. Much stronger start than we did there. Maybe we can look for Lyra things later on, but I feel like even Lyra on 9 right now is not going to be enough. We'd have to Lyra Radiant Elemental at 7 mana. Then we'll only have 2 accessible. Obviously, we can do an Inner Fire thing for free. And then a Divine Spirit for 1. And at that point, we're already really, really low on our resources. Ooh, another Spite. Okay, so at least our opponent had a slow turn. They have 5, 6, 7 damage on board. And another Power Word Shield. Maybe we just get Inner Fired out on this coming turn, actually. Because we're definitely within range right now of simply losing. I don't think we're going to do... There's nothing we can do here fancy at all. So we're just going to have to hope that Ysera gets us basically whatever we need. And we're going to have to hope that Dream is it. We hope our opponent actually just plays a slow card. We Dream it, play another Ysera. But I'm kind of expecting we get hit with that Inner Fire. Oh. And... we can find lethal here, no? This is 11. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's enough mana. We can go 12 is 15, is 30, is lethal. So that's also actually a pretty good way to find lethal, I think, is a 30-30 Ysera. That's definitely not how we drew up this deck working, but that's actually a pretty sweet lethal find that we were able to get there. Especially after we just got beat down by some aggro, which I think, some tempo deck there, which I think we should do better against. In these mirror matchups, it's, you know, I think it's a little bit how you play it, and then a little bit how you mulligan, like, aggressively, and I think we did a good job there, but overall, this was kind of a fun matchup. We were able to get a super cool Inner Fire Divine Spirit lethal, which is really part of the whole why we have that package in here. Why we want high health minions, so we can then do this combo to find lethals in games like this when we're not supposed to really be winning, when we've already fallen behind. Alright, I think that is going to be it for this video. I haven't done these outros in a long time because all the videos have just been clips of streams, so that's really cool. Thanks for hanging out with me, everyone. Going to continue to try to upload every single day, and I'm going to continue to try to get back on streaming either here on YouTube and also over at twitch.tv/Fujosevich. I'll see you soon. Keep your stick on the ice.